Entrepreneurs are not risk takers, they are risk calculators. What's up, champions? Welcome to another episode of Champion Reads, where we talk about best-selling books and their best principles to help you out with your best life. I am your host, Willie Blake, and I have the founder of Champion Circle with us today, Mr. John Kovach Jr., and we are jumping into the second episode of How I Built This by Guy Raz. Learn that's how you pronounce it. Totally incorrect last episode, but we'll just forget about it. Guy Raz. I'm excited for today because in the green room, we were talking about the things that we should talk about. And one of the topics that came up, and the one that we are going to jump into, is about entrepreneurship. And not just that, but real talk about what entrepreneurship is. Because a lot of the times, a lot of people think it's just money, it's just freedom, that everything's great. But there is so much else that goes into it. And from individuals that together we've had several upon several, maybe even up to a decade years of entrepreneurship. Let us share experience of what it actually means to be a freaking entrepreneur and everything that goes in with it. So, John, I'm actually just going to throw the curveball right to you. Entrepreneurship. What are the pros, and more, what are the, I don't like to say the word cons, but like, what are the things that are the hidden inconveniences of entrepreneurship?
Well, Guy actually starts the book with one of my favorite sentences. He says, entrepreneurship isn't natural. And he goes into, the calling of entrepreneurship, because it truly is a unique experience. And honestly, that's one of the reasons why he built this podcast and wrote this book, is because all of his interviews and his stories of people who are taking it to the next level, no entrepreneurial story is the same. And it shouldn't be, because there is no cookie cutter way to start a business. There are the normal ways that legal entities would tell you how to start a business, but truly to make a business work, it's not natural. It takes an army. It takes so much to get something off the ground. I've had a lot of experience with entrepreneurship, starting from the young age of 12 years old. And I've told this story many times, but real quickly, my parents wanted to save up some extra cash so that we could go on vacation, so that we could, do what the normal families were doing during like spring break or whatever. And so my mom thought of an idea of running a vending machine business. Only we didn't own or operate machines. We just had these cardboard boxes. And the cardboard boxes were stacked nicely with snacks. And what we would do is we would organize them, pack them, and then deliver them to these corporate office buildings. And we would put a little jar in the corner that said, 50 cents honor code, right? We would expect people to be honorable and honest. And, sometimes people wouldn't get it, or there would be theft, but we did make money, and we made enough to like go to Mount Rushmore and see really cool things as a family. And that was my early entrepreneurship exposure. And I got to tell you, like, even then, it's not natural. Guy Raz is so right. Like every story was different. The benefits for me were awesome. Like, I'll take that one as an example. I'll tell more stories later, because you and I are going to rapid fire. But the benefits were experience, discipline, right? There are so many different like values that came out of entrepreneurship that teach you things that you don't really get from chores or from schoolwork or from sports. They're different. It's like your ability to enjoy life a little bit more deeper, to be able to travel, to do cool things, to be able to experience life, to grow strength that not many people have. That comes from entrepreneurship, and it truly is a blessing, but it truly is a calling. Like if it's not calling you, don't go. Don't dive into it. Don't dip your toes in it, because if you like the comfort of an office and a paycheck and so many other things, then yeah, stick to what you love. But if you do have that itch, they talk about like the entrepreneurial itch, and it drives you nuts. That's when you're being called towards something a little bit bigger than yourself. And that's, in a nutshell, entrepreneurship.
I'm with you. There's so many things that go into it. The thing that always pops up in my head is when you're an entrepreneur, nothing is set. Like you are literally creating everything, especially when you first start out. You are creating the path that you're going down in your brand and niche. You're figuring out and have to do the finances yourself. Depending on your business, depends if there's like employees or properties that jump into the play. Rent costs, there's like, and then you got to do your own education and learn and research and accounting. And there's so much that goes into it that a lot of people are just like, oh, I am so passionate about baking cupcakes, and I'm going to bake cupcakes every single day, and it's just going to be the best thing in the world. And they start a cupcake place and they get excited. They tell all their friends, and their friends come, and that first 2 weeks is great. But then they hit the bills, and then they hit the rent, and then they get the slowness after the excitement. And Alex Ramosi says the valley of despair, and they get into what it actually is, which it's a grind. And it's not set in stone. You can't, just like if you go to a regular 9 to 5, you have a job description day one of what you are going to do. As an entrepreneur, you do not have anything as such like that. It is you creating it yourself. And yeah, that's the first thing that always comes to my mind when people are like, I'm so excited about it. And I'm like, can you organize and plan stuff? Because if you can't, it's going to be a rough go for a little bit.
Yeah, there's definitely the necessities of every business, and in entrepreneurship, you are the bearer of many hats and roles. And do you like to juggle? Because that's what you're asking yourself to do, is jump right into juggling, right? You need to put on the boxing gloves, enter the gym, and take on multiple opponents all at once. That's it. It's entrepreneurship. Doesn't it sound great? Aren't we selling this? We're like, all right, come to the dark side. But we
We have
truly,
candy.
we there you go. We truly, like, we're advocates for it, and we're so passionate about it. But again, like I don't want to toot my horn too loudly, because again, I have a value set on entrepreneurship because I like the risk. I like the reward. I enjoy it. Part of my journey was also mowing lawns. And I want to talk about that for a second, because vending machines, those have been around for a very long time. We did not reinvent the wheel. We just came up with a solution that worked for us. Okay. And it apparently worked in our area. We mowed lawns. Like, I literally showed up to my neighbor's house with my lawnmower on, and it was just sitting there already cut like the corner of their yard. So when I knocked on the door as a 14-year-old kid, I'd be like, hey, $20, we'll mow your lawn. They couldn't say no to me, because when I was a kid, two, I had already cut the corner of their lawn, and three, we were there. It was so much harder. So we knew that tenacity and persistence was part of it as well. But we ran this neighborhood. Like I still drive down the roads in this neighborhood and look at my neighbors and be like, oh yeah, I remember when they paid us to mow their lawn. Like, the experiences, the journey, the stories, it all comes down to that idea that we took some time to serve other people. And sometimes it was solving a problem. And it may not have been their problem. It might have been my problem because it, we joke on this show about how like we all have elements of ADHD, OCD, perfectionism, and all kinds of other things that are undiagnosed. And of course, they're undiagnosed. They're not truly symptoms of these diagnoses, but they're definitely things that we care about, right? And that's truly what entrepreneurship is like, if you do have a passion for baking, as Willie brought up, great. Do you want to take that to the next step? And can you, like, do you have the capacity to take on the risk of licensings and making sure that you throw out every cookie that's not good, and you don't sell something that has mold or doesn't taste good? Like, it's your responsibility to go the extra mile and do something great. But I want to talk about one thing, Willie, and that's, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. In fact, just do what other people have created. There's ways of looking at paths that people have gone down and saying, wow, well, they did it, I can do it too. There's no problem with doing the same thing other people have done. And that's like looking at entrepreneurship from a different angle. Most people think of it as like inventing something new or coming up with the next best product. But, that's such a fraction of entrepreneurship, and very little actually invent something new or some new app or some new service, right? And then they actually get funding from it from some investor, and they make millions of dollars right off the bat overnight. And if you read Guy's book and listen to his podcast, that is the complete opposite of what most major companies go through. In fact, that's why there's a show. It's because people don't just get funding; they have to go through the ebbs and flows, the valleys and the peaks of what it truly means to be an entrepreneur. And that's a heroic story.
It's funny that when you say that, it reminded me of the first time I had anything related to entrepreneurship, which was I got a bunch of stuff from my bedroom, set up this, it was like it wasn't leather, it was like a pleather type table right on my front lawn, put all my stuff on it, got little sticky notes and put prices on it, and I had a yard sale. Okay, it was more like a table sale because I didn't have much stuff. But I remember sitting there and waiting for people, looking around, and I have my stuff I wanted to sell, and I'm thinking, where is everybody? Why is no one coming to this thing? And I remember that I didn't tell many people I was doing it. It was just like a Saturday morning. I'm like, oh, this seems really cool. I want to go outside and sell some of my stuff. And so literally I had to get out of my chair and I went to my neighbor's house who I knew had kids and say, hey, got a yard sale over there. You should come hang out and see what there is. And then I was able to get a few yard sale people. But it's interesting because I think back to it and I'm thinking, good job me for doing that. And without realizing the risks that go into it. Because in the simplest of simplest terms, I started something. Not many people were coming, so I had to go out and become the salesperson. I had to go out and start talking to people. Then I had to come back and be in operations, which was making sure everything was fine and that people weren't stealing stuff. I had to be security as well. And then I had to be the negotiator to prices when kids are just like, I only have a nickel for this dollar thing. And I'm like, so there's that. And then there's the overhead of all the inventory that I had, what I had to do with it if I didn't sell it, right? And it's a funny example, but in the simplest terms, it's a lot goes into it of what it needs to be creating a business in that. And I feel like I don't like to be on the negative side of things, and I felt like I've been like this for the episode so far. Entrepreneurship is great, and it is very great for many individuals. But for those out there who are just like, I don't know if I want to take on the risk in that, let me tell you, that's fine. Like, you don't have to be an entrepreneurship. Since COVID hit, everyone thinks that entrepreneurship is the cool thing to do and the must thing to do. No, You just got to get good at the thing that you're good at. If that's entrepreneurship, fine, awesome. Welcome to the club. Join us. Have fun. If it's not, go crush it at the job that you have. And both are so fulfilling.
Yeah, and I don't mind flipping the script here for a minute too, because again, like I don't encourage you to become an entrepreneur if it's not your desire. Most people think it's the shiny, flashy thing, but I will tell you a little historical fact here. Ever since we had a huge market crash in 2008, there have been a different mindset in the households of American families. And that is security. They want extra income. They want to build and pad up their security. And since 2008, it has become kind of like a household expectation or necessity where an extra side income is necessary. So there's your regular job, and then there's like your side gig, something you can do on the weekends or something you can find online. And that's become a hot topic because a lot of people think, oh, well, I don't love my job, but I do, appreciate the regular paycheck. And so until my side gig or my interest or my hobby starts making more money than on my job, I'll transition and I'll quit. And so a lot of people have that mentality. And what they want to do is they want to do that. Well, there's something about that. Like that's the smart way to go about it, but it's not always going to work. I'm like a feet first, all in kind of person. And if you truly want to make something happen, you've got to give it your all. And I feel funny saying that because, I've been building and growing this Champion Circle brand for years now. And it has been a project where I've been giving, at times 20%, at times 40%, at times 50, 60%. And it's because I've been building this while I've been sustaining my life and my family. So that is a route. That is a smart way to go about it. But at the same time, if you truly want to have the success you need, reading this book, you will find out that people who go all in, put all their chips in the basket to help them make a solution happen. That's the kind of story that leads to the Southwest Airlines, the Ben and Jerry's, the I just forgot like a long list of really great episodes and businesses he interviews, but like the biggest brands out there are the ones that truly have gone all in. And so I'll be the negative Nancy here. Why is it always Nancy? Why couldn't it be like negative Neville? Okay. I'll be negative Neville for a second
Never long bottom.
and just say like, are you ready? Like, can you jump all in? Are you ready to take this risk? But on the positive side, I'll say, look, there are people who have gone before you. We're ready to hold your hand. Are you ready to take the leap with us? It is like jumping off of a bridge, but not too high, just enough to scare you and enough for you to say, let's commit. But once you do it, boy, that rush is worth it. And boy, do you get to catch the bug. But I will say that American families today have struggled to convert that income, to quit their jobs, because there aren't a lot of resources that allow you to make money on the side, giving a half butt efforts, and instead you have to give a lot. And so people get involved in network marketing or affiliate marketing or online sales or percentage commissions, or they get involved in that kind of stuff where there's a third party, and it leads to successes at various levels. So that's kind of like my take on it. And I don't mind being the negative Neville on that, just because, again, are you ready? Like, do you want to take this invitation? Are we making it sexy for you, or have we just kind of turned it down a little bit?
Are you turned on or turned off to entrepreneurship? The I haven't thought about this before, but an interesting thought that came to my mind was that entrepreneurship isn't about what you build. It's about the person you become as you're building it. And I don't know why I haven't thought about that today, but it's true. Because when I first started out, before anything started, I was an awesome dude. Very kind, very generous, a little shy, introverted, and had no clue how to communicate, pronounce things. My wife and I just got married. I was going to be an accountant I wanted to be in one of the big four, and just like all these things. And then slowly but surely, wonderful God above kept pushing me to business management, and then learning about marketing, and then into the business side of things of entrepreneurship. And I think back over the last 7 years that I've been in here, and I'm thinking I've really become a different person, and not in the bad way. And I don't even think different person is the right way to say it. It's like I have become more of myself and stepped into the shoes that I need to fill. Because now I'm a little bit more bold. Now I can communicate. Now I can host things like podcast or episodes like this, or events, or be an MC and speaking. Like those, the Willie before could not do those things as well as the Willie now. And I can't wait for 5 years in the future to see what entrepreneurship helps me to become as I continue to build these things out. And so I think I'll leave that with, don't think about entrepreneurship as you're going to build something that's great. Think of it as who you're going to become as you build it.
Well said. And there's something that you've actually quoted me on this before, and I shared a lot, but the phrase like, oh, I'm so far behind is not a true statement, because you're not truly behind on anything. You just haven't taken the step in the right direction. You haven't started. And I will 100% concur to what you said, Willie. Like, you've transformed and not just changed. Like, you've changed. No, you've transformed. And the Willie today, I mean, I liked the Willie before, but I love the Willie today. And it's because the drive, the values, the person you become as a part of entrepreneurship. And you got to say, it's like throwing yourself into the boxing ring. How do you get stronger? How do you get better? You take a few hits. You learn what it takes to, dodge those hooks, those jabs. You realize on the go, like, if I'm going to survive this, I got to do things different. And it forces you in a direction to learn these skills that you admire in other people, and their skill sets that you need to survive. And that's truly like the accelerator program that is entrepreneurship. So going back to your original statement and pulling from the book here, entrepreneurs are not risk takers at all. They're risk calculators, and they see the path, they know what they can do, and then they start evaluating based on what their options are, how they're going to take it. And again, like, the call is there. If you want to be an entrepreneur, dive in, go all in, and find yourself changing, transforming, becoming someone you either love and admire, or somebody you never knew existed, who's literally like coming out from the darkness and stepping into this light of tenacity and strength and so much more. So a lot of values. It's a positive experience. And again, I highly recommend you go read this book, How I Built This by Guy Raz. It is a phenomenal book. If you ever want to venture down the path of listening to his podcast show, which is an NPR special, I mean, just flip through some of the episodes and look at one that sounds interesting to you. Do you want to know, how, some of the biggest beauty brands and any companies have started? Do you want to know how Uber got off the ground? Do you want to know how Airbnb exploded? Like, those are stories that will knock you off your socks. Like, they will share all of the craziness that went down before these companies became the huge companies that they are. And if that's you, if you're at day one, you've got this. Okay. You've got this. You'll be part of this story, part of this journey, part of this transformation, and you'll join an elite club of people who have a story to tell.
Amen, brother. And with that awesome truth bomb, boom, That's been another episode of Champion Reads. If you found inspiration in this awesome episode, go ahead and subscribe to our podcast. You can find us on all the major podcasting platforms, as well as you can find us on our webpage, mychampionscircle.com, where you'll be able to find link to our podcast, link to our socials, and everything else going in the Champion Circle universe. Until next time, champions, continue to be awesome, continue to be the individuals that you are, and always remember that entrepreneurship is not the thing that you build, but who you become in the process. We'll see you on the next episode of Champion Reads.